What's up guys, Jake here, and when X-Men 97 was first announced, I was incredibly excited as the original cartoons served as my introduction of these characters and a big part of the foundation of my love for superheroes, so when they announced the sequel show, I was very excited but also slightly worried as I didn't want this to be what's commonly referred to as nostalgia bait by the internet these days, and thankfully this show couldn't be further from that. X-Men 97 Season 1 tells an incredibly compelling story that captures the spirit of the X-Men perfectly, along with some of the most beautiful looking visuals I've ever seen in an animated show. Season 1 ended with different groups of the X-Men being spread across time, which led very well into Season 2, and so far, they've definitely kept the momentum going. Episode 1, titled Days of Past Future, sees a small section of our heroes stranded in the distant future, and the intro of the episode reflects that, showing only the characters that the episode focuses on and no one else, which is true for episodes 2 and 3 as well, and one of these intros is quite unique from the rest, but we'll get there. To highlight one more segment of the intro before moving into the actual episode, I love how Wolverine's segment not only showcases him in his brown and yellow suit, the last suit we saw him in, but also the sound effects of his claws are made to represent bone claws instead of metal. The episode itself puts a big focus on Jean and Scott debating whether or not to tell their son, Nathan Summers, who would grow up to be Cable, that he is in fact their son, and this storyline carries with it a lot of good emotional beats along with a very satisfying, though potentially dangerous, payoff. The Forge and Storm storyline, while probably my least favorite part of Season 1, I think is handled much better here. I didn't think it was bad in Season 1 per se, just the least interesting story out of all of them that were happening. The conversations between the two are very well written and well acted, which is generally the case across the board with these 3 episodes and the show as a whole, and all this leads to Storm confronting Mother Ascani and learning that she, Storm, is essential to powering the ship in the X-Men's possession. We also learn that Mother Ascani was the one responsible for spreading the X-Men across time at the end of Season 1 when she saw that they were all fated to die, and if her comic roots are any indication, it's very likely that we'll see this character again in the future. When it comes to the action, X-Men 97 is on another level in not only the visuals and animation, but the creativity of the fight scenes and the use of the X-Men's powers. One of my favorite aspects of Season 1 was seeing Morph transform into other heroes or Marvel characters during action scenes, and this first episode continues that. Seeing Morph transform into Thor, even for a second, was incredibly cool. The episode concludes with a nice scene of Nathan getting his fully bionic arm as a child, paralleled with the adult Cable looking at his own arm. I generally don't have any notes for this episode, and I was very engaged from start to finish. Episode 2, titled A Force to be Reckoned With, showcases a fun, albeit very loosely adapted take on the Team X-Force, complete with a custom-made intro for that exact team, showcasing Cable, Psylocke, Archangel, Sunspot, and Jubilee. While Sunspot was an early recruit to the comic team, and Psylocke and Archangel joined a version of the team in the 2010s, Jubilee's inclusion is tailor-made for the show's narrative, and honestly, I think the decision to group these characters together in this way really worked. This episode showcased the moral dilemma that Jubilee has when it comes to not only granting her enemies mercy, but also trying to save as much of the world as she can. The arguments between her and Cable, as well as Cable and Sunspot, are very well written and compelling, and the inclusion of X-Factor definitely puts things into perspective for them. This episode especially did a lot for Jubilee, who, while I never disliked in the original cartoon, was never a character that I had the biggest attachment to, and while she was definitely helped a lot by Season 1 of X-Men 97, this episode made her a much better character than she had been up until this point. She's been a part of this world since the first episode of the original series, and even without knowing all the context from that show, with what she went through in Season 1 of X-Men 97 alone, her growth and development into who she becomes at the end of this episode was so engaging to watch. Also, the fight scene between Jubilee and a bunch of soldiers while the Volcano Girls music plays in the background was so entertaining and a very creative showcase of Jubilee's powers. Definitely my favorite part of the episode. Cable then reflects on Jubilee's worry for the mutant children, commenting that children are tougher than she might think. We of course as viewers know what that means, and the episode backs up that mental realization immediately by showcasing Nathan's last interaction with his parents as a child before he sends them back. While I enjoyed this episode a little less than episode 1, I still think it's a great episode with plenty to offer. Episode 3, titled Rise of Apocalypse Part 1, sees the other group of X-Men sent through time, all the way back to Apocalypse's origin during the year 3000 BC in ancient Egypt. This episode puts heavy focus on Magneto and a young Ensaba Noir, with the former acting as his advisor. Ensaba Noir is on the brink of leading a full-on rebellion against Rama-Tut, one of the many identities of Kang the Conqueror. After a beautifully animated and very intense fight scene, Ensaba Noir captures a man named Logos to be interrogated for information. We then get a sequence of Xavier looking into Logos' mind, which showcases some gorgeous visuals combined with a very ominous feeling. I get the feeling something particularly big is on the horizon for this show. We'll see if I'm right. Throughout the episode, Magneto is given a narrative that's very compelling but also very different to his character. He aims to redeem Noir while instilling in him Xavier's dream of a peaceful world where mutants and humans live together. Ball, the leader of the tribe that took Noir in, stokes the fire within him, and despite the X-Men's best efforts, Noir turns on them, and in the midst of the chaos, Bishop reveals himself, and just as the team goes to teleport out of Egypt, their stronghold is attacked, presumably by Rama-Tut, before we cut to black, which works greatly as a cliffhanger for the next episode. When we first got the release schedule for this season, I was very confused as to why we were getting a 3-episode premiere, but now seeing these episodes as they are, I think it very much makes sense. We wouldn't want to wait 4 whole weeks to finally see the full X-Men together as a team, and this schedule makes it so that presumably we'll see the team reunited in next week's episode. I love this show and I'm so happy it's back. Season 1 of X-Men 97 set such a high bar, and with everything we knew going into Season 2, it's natural to fear a drop in quality, but I just don't think that's the case at all. If the season keeps up the momentum from these first 3 episodes, then I think we're in for a treat. Now I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What did you think of the 3-episode premiere for X-Men 97 Season 2? Did you love the episodes? Did you hate them? Are you somewhere in the middle? And I want to know all of your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, drop any thoughts below, share this video with your friends and family, subscribe for more superhero content, as well as weekly reactions to the upcoming X-Men 97 episodes. And man, I am so happy this show is back.